it going? My name is Kishor and I'm from India, and I came to US for my graduate studies at ISU, and this is about my experience at ISU and US in general. So, alright, where do I begin? When I landed in Des Moines on a really cold winter night in December, it was like stepping onto another planet. And not just any planet, but the one that makes Antarctica looks like the Bahamas. I mean, the place was completely filled with snow and ice that I've seen icicles bigger than my future. And don't even get me started on the wind chills. Let's just say that if you thought your face mask was protecting you, think again. It's nature's way of saying, welcome to Iowa, sucker! I mean, coming to another country, I was obviously prepared for a cultural shock, but I wasn't quite ready for this temperature shock. It was like an amateur starting a video game on expert mode. But first things first, I'm from India, and back in India we measure temperature in Celsius. So when I saw that it's going to be 5 degrees in Ames, I thought, hey, that's not too bad. However, it turns out the Americans like to play a little game called let's confuse the foreigners and measure the temperature in Fahrenheit. I mean, why make it simple when you can make it complicated, right? It's almost like the Americans measure the temperature in a different system just to make it seem like it's hotter than ours. Nice try. So, India. India is, as you may all know, is one of the most populated countries in the world, with 1.4 billion people. That's right, that's a lot of people. So trust me when I tell you, it gets pretty crowded there pretty quick. But when I came to Iowa, it was like I was in the middle of a desert. Only it was covered with snow instead of sand. And I got to thinking, where is everyone? I mean, seriously, Iowa, where are you hiding your people? Did everyone decide to take a nap at the same time? Or is there any secret underground bunker where everyone is just hanging out? Because I'm pretty sure I saw more cornfields and humans on my drive from the mountains. But in all seriousness, when I do meet people in Iowa, they're some of the nicest people I've ever met. Oh, that's not a joke, I mean it. Iowans are really some of the nicest people I've seen. I mean, I've not seen so many people use the words please and thank you so many times in one day. It's almost like they're trying to set a world record or something. They're so friendly, they'll smile and wave at you, even if they don't know you, like you're the long-lost childhood buddy. They're so kind, they'll hold the door open for you like it's their full-time job. They're so polite, oh damn, they could even be driving and be like, oh, may I merge onto your lane? No? Okay, thank you, you have a lovely day. I mean, I've heard of the term Iowa nice, but after coming here, I realized that Iowa nice is not just a saying, it's a way of life here in Midwest, and I feel grateful I got a slice of that in Ames. So thank you, Iowa. Coming back to India. India is not just a populated country, but it's also a country that's culturally rich, linguistically diverse, and a country where parents think their kids getting a part-time job during college is just a fancy way of saying failing school. That's right, because a part-time job is a distraction from one true job, becoming an engineer. So I never went to part-time back in India. That's how I lived all of my undergraduate life, on my dad's money. Gotta tell you, the beer never tasted better. But in the US of A, finding a college grad doing a part-time job is as likely as finding McDonald's. They're everywhere. I mean, I could imagine why. Have you ever realized how expensive it is to live in this country? I practically had to take out a second mortgage just to afford a cup of coffee. So eventually I got to my senses and thought to myself, hey, why don't I go ahead and get a part-time job at the ISU at the UDM facility? And UDM is a whole different ball game. You think studying for graduate degree stuff? Try working at the UDM. I mean, there are chefs and all to give you instructions, but you gotta do most of the legwork, and it's like a never-ending game show. You think you've mastered one task, and the next day they throw something completely different at you. On one day, I was making over 200 omelets in 4 hours, like my life depended on it. And on the other day, I was baking pizzas in one oven while simultaneously making sure the cinnamon rolls don't get burnt in the other oven. Tough day, huh? But nothing compares to the time that I had to fry breaded chicken. You see, breaded chicken is a tricky business and definitely not for the faint-hearted. You gotta fry the chicken until it's exactly 165 degrees Celsius. Oh, I'm sorry, I did that again. It's 375 degrees Fahrenheit. But moving on, you gotta measure that temperature using a thermometer while the chicken is still frying in boiling oil. Well, I gotta say, I thought I had steady hands until I had to measure the temperature. And let me tell you, dropping a thermometer in boiling oil, not my finest moment. So I couldn't be happier when I was moved to the desert station the next day. I thought, hey, this should be easy. No boiling oil, no burning ovens, it's just cakes and frosting. Until a piece of cake fell down and 10 people stepped on it and smeared it all over the floor. I mean, there was frosting everywhere. And guess who had to clean it all up? Oh, no brownie points for guessing. It was me. And it was like cleaning up after preschool art class. Except the kids were rebels and the paint was edible. So it was that day I realized even the desert station is not a piece of cake. Oh, no pun intended. That was all real. Coming back to the graduate life, there's absolutely nothing I could tell you that you wouldn't know already. Graduate life was filled with endless assignments and pulling all-nighters and basically having a social life that's as extinct as dinosaurs. The library becomes a second home and coffee becomes a best friend. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but let's not discuss more about the turmoils of graduate studies. There is nothing in there that would surprise you. However, you need to know something about the Indians who come to the US for graduate studies. Don't let them fool you. The real reason they are here is so they can see all the places that they've ever been dreaming about since they were 90s kids. I mean, can you blame us? Growing up in India, all we ever saw were these incredible landmarks on TVs and movies, and we were like, wow, that's amazing. Too bad we'll never get to see them in person. But now that we are in the US, we are living the dream, baby. So without much ado, me and my friends, we decided to venture out to explore the United States. And the first stop on our list was the one and only New York City. But we booked the flight tickets in New Jersey instead of New York. Not to visit New Jersey, but the tickets to New York was expensive. I mean, don't get me wrong, New Jersey is great and all, but it's like the extra wing on the Thanksgiving turkey that no one really wants. But lucky for us, we had a friend living in New Jersey and he came to pick us up at the airport. So we started driving from New Jersey to New York. And even before we crossed the Hudson River, I realized, oh my God, this is indeed a city that never sleeps. Because everyone is stuck in traffic. And honking. Oh, the honking. It's like the drivers think it's some kind of a magic spell that would make the traffic disappear. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. But when we finally did reach the New York City, all this traffic-induced stress disappeared and we were living our childhood dream, one landmark at a time. I mean, the Statue of Liberty, the Empire State Building, the Brooklyn Bridge. It was like seeing everything for the very first time, even though we've seen it like a million times in movies. And then we got hungry and then we went into a restaurant and the first thing that we noticed was the New York pizzas. I mean, the slice of pizzas was so large we couldn't miss it. Oh, it was almost like they're trying to feed an entire village in one slice. Not to mention it came with a fork and a knife. And then we went to the fabulous, fabulous Times Square. Oh boy, Times Square. I gotta tell you, Times Square is one of the liveliest streets I've seen in my short stay in the US. Remember how I mentioned India is really populated? Well, Times Square was so packed, it felt like home. It was like a big family reunion. Except we didn't know anyone and they were all trying to sell us something. But I gotta give a special honorary mention to those street performers in Times Square. They were doing things that I couldn't believe was bodily possible. I'm pretty sure some of them are from another planet because I saw a guy who was bending his arms all the way behind like it was some kind of a rubber band. I mean, it was entertaining at first, but after a point, you just want him to stop for his own good. As long as we're on the subject of entertainment, the neon flashlights and the billboards, they almost gave me a seizure. But I guess that's what happens when capitalism makes advertising, huh? So, all in all, the Big Apple was a dream come true for the kid inside me. Although it cost me a little fortune, a small fortune, and my loss of ability to see colors for a week. So far it's been an incredible time in the US for me, and especially Iowa State. Made some wonderful friends and enjoyed a lot of memories I would cherish for life. But more than anything, I feel so grateful for Iowa State University for one very, very special reason. I met my wife here at Iowa State. That's her standing right there. Yeah. So, I got an interesting story to tell about us. This story is true, by the way, and but it may sound a little too good to be true, so bear with me. We met here at Iowa State at a leadership program. We liked each other, walked around the entire campus like little children, fell in love along the way. And when we got to talking about more, personal stuff, we realized that back in India, we were living in the same city at houses that are just 7 minutes apart for 26 years, and we never met. That's right. Why I tell you about the story being too good to be true, huh? I mean, what are the odds? We could have bumped into each other at a grocery store or at the cinemas, but no. We had to travel halfway across the globe to find love here in Ames. It's crazy to think that we've been living minutes apart and never crossed paths. It is almost like the universe wanted to affirm that it works in mysterious ways. Okay, dear universe, duly noted. But I say it's because of the huge population in India, or lack thereof in Iowa. Whichever one it is, it worked like a charm because she's one of the amazing girls I've ever seen in my life. Thank you so much.
You are my blessing.
And I feel so grateful for Iowa State University for playing an incredible part in my journey, for not just giving me a degree, but also a wife. To conclude this, I just wanted to say that I've been meaning to do stand-up comedy at Open Mic Night ever since I saw my favorite comedy TV show, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, long back in 2018, 5 years back. But let's just say procrastination is my middle name. But when I saw the final season air last week, I thought enough is enough, and I had to finally pick the very last Open Mic Night available this semester to do this. But now that I'm up here, it feels really great. Now for my next adventure, I'm going to write a book about procrastination, but don't worry, that won't be for another 5 years. In all honesty, I couldn't have done this without the support of my wife, and you've been a great audience, and with that, I would like to sign off in the same style as Marvelous Mrs. Maisel by saying, thank you and good night.
Give it a one more time for Kishor. That was awesome. Just took me a second to wipe some tears from my face.